Hey guys, welcome. I'm going to hit one more recording and I'm here a little early, so I'm going to let people settle in. But I'm so glad that you're here. And if you're ready to join right now for the session, this is my second session of this two new retreat series that I'm offering here on Zoom. And each week we have a different focus, but what this is all about is helping you remember, learn, discover, try some new things, some new habits, some new practices, some new rituals. And yeah, I'll be talking about the perspectives and the psychology that we get from things like yoga throughout. But this retreat series is a lot about the practices, which is kind of different for what I've been offering this year online and with videos and such. I've been more talking to you about our practices versus giving us a chance to experience them. So I thought, well, as we're getting ready for the new year, right? And coming out of a hard year, I'm realizing it might as well be our reason to hone in on the self care because it's obvious we don't have control over a lot of things, right? And the lack of control, even the uncertainty that we've faced this year and even coming into next year, is it's been hard on us, right? So, on the other hand, I'm fascinated with, well, what can we do? What can we control? And I see that things like our self care and our spirituality, if we're interested in that, are the perfect ways to help ourselves. So I'm just going to keep an eye, make sure if people join that I'm making sure they can get into the call. And yeah, so if you want to join for today's session of this two new retreat series, then you want to get ready to get on the floor for this session. All the other sessions, really, I'll invite you to stay in your chair. And if you want to stay in your chair today and watch, that's fine. And then try these things later. But the idea is when you watch this, whether you're watching this live with me or whether you're catching it later at your convenience, I like that I can offer you that option because I realize that's a thing, even as maybe some of us are less scheduled right now. Some of us aren't, and it's still tricky to align with everything we want to do schedule wise. So I like that I can make this so that you could be here live or you can turn it on later, catch the recording, get the training that I'm really giving you here, and then start to add it into your home life. Really is the idea that as soon as you get off of this call, as soon as you finish taking in this session, that you're going to be reminded of several ways that you can take care of yourself, including today is going to be about some super gentle basic poses that I feel like most of us should know about. They're super safe, they're relaxing, they're only going to make you feel better. We're not doing anything like sun salutes. But these are some poses that really can change how we feel. And all of them work all on their own. So I'm going to be sharing, I think maybe it's like 6 or 7 different pose ideas with you and taking you through that. I'll be getting on my mat back there too. So if you want to join for that today, get ready for that. Get yourself in some comfortable clothes, get yourself a space where you can get on the floor. And you're also going to want a chair nearby or maybe a couch or an ottoman for one of our first amazing poses. Some of you who know me and have worked with me know which pose I'm talking about. So welcome. We're letting you settle in to this session 2 of this 2 new retreat series. I'm just checking one more time to make sure I don't have anybody waiting. Okay, good. Great. So it's just about time to officially start. And also you might want to get yourself something to drink nearby, maybe even a notepad to write anything down. Although part of what I always want to do is make it really easy for you to keep doing things on your own here. The things that I'm going to teach you, remind you of, take you through so that you don't need me to do them. Although, of course, now you can use this recording to take yourself through these practices. And I'm also going to hook you up. If I'm not connected to you already, reach out so that I can give you a free copy of my most recent yoga book, which has all of these poses and more. And we're also going to do some really gentle but powerful and awesome breath exercises too. So today is about poses and breath that I would recommend, and I'm going to take you through those. So get ready for that if you want to join. But also, yeah, get your cup of water, maybe have your journal nearby. If we have time at the end, we'll do a little something in the journal, or I might just suggest something for you to do on your own. And if you're waiting, actually, as we get settled here, you could be getting in your journal and just starting to maybe note some positive aspects of right now. That's a fun way to drop into our journals as a form of meditation and focus and energy work. Whew. Yeah. And if you're just joining us, because it's officially now our time to start, welcome. This is the second session of this Tune You retreat series. And I like to say tune you because we are tuning ourselves. So I'm helping you. I love to see that I help you learn, remember, discover, and get into how you can tune you. And I like that word tune for many reasons, because it mainly reminds us that it's all energy, which may be a new awareness for a lot of us. So these practices of things like yoga and meditation are a lot of where these things are coming from that I'm sharing with you today, are all designed to help us manage our energy and recognize that it's all energy. We're made of energy. Our bodies are energy. Our thoughts are energy. Our feelings are energy. Everything happening in life is energy. So as we tune ourselves energetically, but also tune ourselves in the various realms that we are. So that's where this is a holistic approach, not just approaching things physically, for instance, which a lot of people think yoga is just a physical practice, which, yeah, yoga has become famous for the physical aspects, right? And so most of us think yoga, oh, exercises. But you may or may not know, you don't have to do any exercises to practice and experience yoga, because yoga really just means to join, to connect, union. So there's various ways that we're encouraged that we can do that, even with the most earliest of yoga teachings. It was never supposed to be just the poses. The poses are just one of the 8 limbs of yoga. And so, yes, though, they are amazing and awesome. So I want to share with you some of the basic ones, even if you were to choose to use 1 or 2 a day, that could totally change your life, believe it or not. Not just because they're going to improve your health, not just because they're going to help relax you, help get your nervous system to go more towards calm. They're going to boost your immunity. They're going to take care of your organs. They're going to realign you structurally like a chiropractor. They're going to, yes, stretch you. And even a little bit, there's 1 or 2 things I'm going to offer today that have a hint of even gentle strengthening, which is important. So all those things, but all of them to get us in the body, because the body is such a part of our experience, and to help us get that energy moving though, right? And to help us free up stuck energy, let go of old stored energy, even like stored trauma, other people's energy that we're holding on to and picking up all the time. So we're doing amazing energy work with ourselves when we use poses of yoga. So that's one of the big things. But then I'm also going to be talking to you while we do these, to talk to you about how can you make an exercise a form of yoga? What makes it yoga? What are you doing on the inside? And that means, yeah, what are the perspectives and the psychology that you want to be bringing to make it a yoga experience? So welcome, get comfortable, get your mat out, your towel, your blanket, get a chair nearby, or your chair that you're in, hopefully you can use for one of these first poses we're going to do. But yeah, welcome. So, and again, cup of something's nice. And if you weren't here, I started a little early with the stream. So if you weren't here to get that, just reminding you that this is about helping you build your home practices, especially as we come into the new year, and with all sorts of ways you can be taking care of yourself. So we'll be touching on many of them today, but through the aspects mainly of these poses and breath. But it will all be a form of meditation, definitely a form of yoga too, because it's all going to be connecting us and reconnecting us. But yes, mentally, physically, and spiritually. That's why and how these practices can help so much, because they're meant to help us on all 3 realms. Even things like these poses can be a place to reconnect mentally, physically, and spiritually. So I'm going to be sharing some of that with you as we do them, right? So yeah, and then again, all these poses should be really safe for most bodies, even if you have some pain issues. These are actually some things that could help ease that, shift that. That's some of my expertise is helping people get out of pain. And if you want more ideas on specific poses after today's session, please reach out because that's part of what I do is help people bring in the specifics for their specifics going on. But all these should be fairly safe for you, but feel free to modify, add a pillow, things like that if you need, and take it slow and gentle, which yoga should always be, in my opinion. And also, that's how we make it a form of self-care by being loving with ourselves, gentle, not pushing into anything that feels painful, and letting it be a harmonious, connecting experience for us, right, on all those realms. So, before we get into the pose, let's just pause where we are, settle in, and shift gears to really let this be more of a practice. And that is part of what is going to turn a moment into a form of practice is our intention that we're bringing in, right? And just deciding, okay, I'm now deciding to slip into some time that I can call practice. And so what's going to be different here? Let me guide us into some of that. So we could say get into a little simple meditation first. So get comfortable in your seat. And part of this too is shift around, move your body a little bit already so that you feel ready to even sit for a moment with me. And that's part of how I like to start any practice moment, shift around, move around, and then settle into some stillness. Because yes, stillness is really curative and helpful. And already we're just starting to bring our attention more into our bodies, right? Like it or not, let yourself just become more aware. Notice how it feels to have it sitting on your chair, sitting on the floor. Notice what it's like to have that air on your skin, and let the sensations in your body and around you, even the sounds, start to bring you more present and into right now, which is a big part of the medicine of all these practices and what we're practicing while we do these things, and part of what makes it yoga. So we're deciding, okay, I'm getting more here and now by getting more into my body, getting more into sensations, getting more into listening to sounds, feeling sensations. And that's just already turning this into a moment of more like mindfulness and presence, already reconnecting us with the body, right? Which just turns out feels better because a lot of us really in our heads a lot of the day with our awareness and attention and focus. Me too. So that's why these poses even help us so much, because they get us back in the body and then give us a chance to really shift and change things in the body again, because it's all energy. So settling in and starting to relax more into your position. And that's at the heart of all these practices, is this reminder that relaxing is just better for us. Feels better, we flow better, everything functions better. And again, it's all energy. So imagine how your energy flows so much differently when you're relaxed. And then a lot of these poses are going to help us relax more. So don't get too discouraged if you feel like it's hard to relax. Just start to try maybe softening your face and jaw as a first step. And that helps to relax your nervous system and soften the rest of you already. And then just experiment with how much you can soften and relax the rest of the body into your position. Just noticing what is possible and noticing what parts don't relax and where there's tension and tightness. And so right away, we want to bring in another part of the therapy here is that non-judgment that we want to start using now as we're noticing. And I want you to start to notice, how is the body feeling as we get started? Are there parts that feel tense, tight, painful, even just aware of whatever's been going on with the body, and bringing in that non-judgment, and even more like what we talked about last week, kindness and compassion with what you're noticing just with the body right now. Remember, it's all energy. So just relaxing into, settling into what's in it is, and just noticing what is in your body. And already let's just start to notice that we have breathing going on and start to use that pretty soon. So this relaxing and breathing is something we do with all of these practices. And it's because it's just a better state of being. And it's going to help all of this work better. And so the intention is that while we're practicing even, we'll be using that, remembering that, and just getting better at, oh yeah, relaxing more, breathing more, better, differently, more like we're born breathing. So let's already start to give ourselves that before we check out more how we're doing. So start to bring in more of a belly shaped breath, because that's how we're born breathing. That's how the body functions best. And a lot of us are not breathing into the bellies because of things like holding tension, tightness, and it creates more anxiety and even depression. So breathe more slowly and fully into your belly. Ideally, you're inhaling through the nose if you can. That's a little bit better for the body's experience. Slower, longer into your belly, filling it up like a soft balloon. You could even put a hand there. And then the exhale is just as important, out of your mouth or nose, but take it slower, go longer, gently. And the exhale is actually what relaxes us, what releases that tension, that tightness, that stuck energy. So we don't want to shortchange it. And a lot of us are generally. So just start to give yourself that here in this position. Just slower, longer, belly shaped breath. So we could call that, sorry, that was my kitten. We could call that conscious breathing is what we're doing. And bringing that into any moment, and especially during the poses, is going to be part of what we're working with here. So slower, longer belly shaped breathing, slower, longer exhales. And then just as you're doing that, continuing to relax as much as you can, just keep noticing how you're doing as we start today. And I love to start any practice like that with just checking out how we're doing, ready to honor that, ready to work with that, and make sure that's not going to fall. And with that non-judgment. So how's the body? How's the energy as we get started? We do get to start to notice now what's happening in the mind as part of all this, right? Being here with ourselves. So just starting to listen more, notice what's happening in your mind as you're sitting here. What sorts of thoughts are you having or have you been having before this? Bring in that non-judgment. How are you feeling? What are the emotions like? And just this is all just like a touching in, checking in, like, okay, this is where I'm starting from today. And then now we get to work with that, honor that, change that, because it's all energy. But that's part of the value of this right away, is just this tuning in that you're doing with yourself. In any of these practices, they're just going to help you tune in to what's actually true. And that's half the deal. And you're going to continue to notice that while we're together. So keep bringing in that non-judgment as you're noticing, as we're in the poses and doing the breath and just what's happening for you throughout. We're going to be listening to that mind as part of the therapy. And yes, noticing when thoughts come in and what we are thinking about, what we are feeling about. And that's going to be part of the therapy, though, is just you getting a chance to notice what is true for you and why are you feeling the ways you're feeling is really what it's going to start to tell you, right? With that non-judgment. And then, yes, though, these practices are also going to help us quiet our minds, calm our minds, relax our minds, shift our minds, which will all help even shift the nature of our thoughts and give us more time to even listen more in like a spiritual sense. So let yourself keep getting more and more in this listening mode as we get started, just a listening mind. So that means listening to yourself, right? Listening to me, listening to sounds, feeling sensations, getting into your breath, continuing to practice relaxing. But right, isn't that amazing? Already so much better. So there are already several tools and practices that you can use and bring into your days now more, but we're going to keep practicing them as we get onto our mats. So let's get ready to do that if you're ready. And stay relaxed, stay breathing, take it gently as we shift positions now. So this first pose, I'm going to take you into it. We're going to be there for about 5 minutes once we get there. And so this one is called static back. And I really learned this one in my specialized training in postural therapy. And this one is amazingly curative for lots of reasons. It's going to relax us. It's going to refresh us. It's going to realign us structurally. It's a bit of an inversion, so it's got a lot of therapy. And it's also a great one for helping ease and shift and resolve a lot of pain issues, like when we've got neck, shoulder, upper back, mid back, low back, or hip pain. This pose can often right away relieve it. So even if you're having some of that today, get yourself there gently as I show you how to get there, but it could and should make all those things feel better. We do want to do all these poses with really good form though. So that's where I'm not getting to see you. So it's going to be up to you, just like when you start to now do these poses on your own, for you to really make sure you do them with good form, because they only work well when you have good alignment, good position, nothing should hurt, and you always want to make sure it works for you. And so this first one we're going to get into called static back. So get your chair or ottoman for this one, and we're going to get you into static back. And really the hardest part with this one is getting into it gently. So what you're going to do is bring yourself over to your chair. I'm going to move myself, and you'll notice with my chair, because it's a little bit lower, we're going to want a chair that once we get there, our legs are at a 90-degree angle. And so what you're going to want to do, for me, I needed to add 2 pillows. I noticed when I use this one. So get yourself some pillows nearby. And you shouldn't need a pillow under your head, but if you at all are worried that you're going to get comfortable being on your back, then get yourself a pillow for that too. So this first one, static back, is amazing. Again, it's going to realign us, it's going to refresh us, it's going to relax us. But get there carefully and gently. So I'm just going to get there for a few minutes and talk to you there. And really, this one you want to stay at least 5 minutes, up to 20 minutes for it to work best. So to get there carefully, gently, just move yourself carefully, gently. Get your buttocks up close to your chair or ottoman or couch. And then you're going to get onto your back and bring your legs up like so. So ideally, my hip to knee to ankle ratio is a 90-degree angle. If it wasn't quite, I would add some pillows. My knees and feet are hips width apart. My arms go in a low V, and I ideally just look straight up. And so you should be able to just lay here and listen to me now, but you can turn and look if you need to. And then shift around, make sure you feel symmetrical and aligned, because that's important in all these poses, and make sure it feels okay, nothing hurts. And then we're going to do just like we did sitting there. We're going to now settle into some stillness. Start to practice relaxing into the pose, even though this pose is also going to be relaxing us. So this is a really good anti-anxiety pose. We have a little bit of an inversion, so it's getting the nervous system to shift towards calm. So you get to just let that happen while you're here. It's also realigning the neck and shoulders, realigning the hips. That's why it's going to help those areas feel better. And so you're relaxing though consciously into the pose. Just practice softening and relaxing as you get more still. And then start to bring in that slower, longer belly-shaped breath into the pose now. And so now that belly-shaped breath is bringing in that fresh energy and oxygen and going into all your cells more, replenishing your organs, helping the pose work even better. And then super slow, long exhales are going to help relax you, get energy moving, help you let go of old stuff, stored trauma, other people's energy. Great. And you can definitely add things like imagination. That's a total yogi tool to be aware how powerful that is. And we're probably using it anyway. So with that breath even, imagine, see, feel how it's coming in as that energy work it is. And feel that, see that. That's going to make it work better. The placebo effect. Bring it in as you see that, feel that. Just feel your breath coming in. Like fresh energy, maybe like white light, kind of classic imagery, right? And then as you exhale, feel how, see how, and just get into how that breath is clearing you out, cleaning you out, helping you let stuff go, free stuff up. And the more that you see that and feel that, the more it's going to work for you. So great. So we've already been here a few minutes. We're relaxing into the pose. We're breathing. And then all these poses are a form of meditation. So while you're here, you're still in your listening mode. You're in your feeling mode. You're still noticing what thoughts are rolling through, right? And that's part of the medicine, remember, but you're becoming more of that observer while you're here in the pose and thoughts are rolling through. You're just noticing with that non-judgment, that self-love, right? And then also, this is all bringing us more present though, right? And even quieting the mind to be doing all of this, focusing on this. And then you can even intentionally quiet your mind more with little things like just try imagining to relax your mind like another muscle while you're here. And see if you can do these things even just 2 to 5 seconds with your mind quieting. Good, getting into your breath. And notice all these things of just being with your breath for the next breath. Really helps you quiet the mind. And even imagine and feel how you can breathe into places that feel tight, tense, or even if it's like your mind that feels tight or tense. Imagine, experiment with breathing right into those tight places and letting that breath kind of refresh, renew, revitalize, and relax you. All those long, slow exhales are relaxing you. Great. And while you're here, because this pose is a practice adjustment, so if you feel like you need to shift and adjust as it's changing your structure, alignment, do, and then settle back into stillness. Keep relaxing, keep breathing, and feel the relief, right? Isn't this posing amazing? And this one, tell a friend. If someone's okay getting on the floor, this one can be the perfect new 5-minute lifesaver for any of us, whether you're really not doing much movement or whether you're a prime athlete. This can be amazing to add to your life. And so the last of the 5 minutes, relaxing, breathing. I'd like to just encourage us to add one arm stretch overhead, but take it gently and carefully, like all these things. Bring your arms up over your chest, interlace your hands, turn your palms away, breathe into that. And then very carefully, lovingly bring your arms up overhead. Now the idea with all yoga is you're really tuned into what's right for you. So if you can go all the way to the floor, do. But if it's too much, if it hurts, if it's a strain before that, so stop sooner where you need to and breathe into that. And we're going to hold that for about a minute. And then you want to relax. So lower body, if it's tensed up, get back into your breathing. Breathe in the tight places, slow, long exhales. So you see how you're using the pose to do therapy with yourself, physically, mentally, energetically, and really using that breath is key. Maybe towards the end of this stretcher, you might stretch it a little bit more, maybe straighten your arms a little bit more, maybe emphasize the pose a little more. Keep relaxing, relaxing your face and jaw. And take a slow, long breath. Good. And then let's release the arms down. Great. Awesome. And notice how you feel. Static back, miracle pose. Now you know. So now let's get ourselves out of this one. Be careful about this. And you never want to jump up out of static back because you would probably be a little lightheaded because you have been a little bit inverted. So take it slow and gentle, but whatever you need to do, whether you can push your chair away or roll yourself to one side. And next we're going to get the position pretty similar, laying here on our backs, knees bent, feet on the floor, arms by our sides in a low V. And this is another great position for us, which is realigning us, just gravity's straightening out our structure. Relax here, breathe here. This is called a hook line position. One important hip stretch I want you to know about that could save your hips and your back and really relieve things if you have issues there. 1 minute each side. We're going to just let's put left ankle up to the right knee and push that right knee away. Just holding here. Breathe into that. Is going to stretch and straighten out your hips. Really amazing 1 minute that can change so much. Because most of us have some crookedness going on in our hips and pelvis. And that's part of why a lot of us have hip pain, back pain, even our neck, elbow, wrist, knee, and foot pain can be about what's happening in those hips. So straightening them out more like each day is going to change a lot and relieve a lot. And again, free up stuck energy. Breathe into tight places. Remember, and this is giving you a chance to do energy work with yourself with these poses. Last breath here. Pushing that knee away. Good. And then foot on the floor. And we'll do the other side. Now you'll probably notice the other side's different. And so the idea here is to work with that, honor that. Just wherever you need to go on this side to make sure it doesn't hurt. It's not too much. If it ever started to feel like too much, you want to ease out of it. Find that place before it hurts. And breathe into that. Relax into that. And so, but that's part of the symbolic practice here too, is we're learning to just be more gentle with ourselves, more loving with ourselves in our relationship with our body during the poses, right? And just practicing those moments of awareness. And yes, working it with some of these, pushing like this, pushing the leg away as much as you can. So there is some action, but not pushing into pain, listening if there is pain, easing out of it, and just getting better at breathing and relaxing through everything, right? And all of it a chance to be in that meditative mode, listening, quieting, realizing, right? Good. Last breath here. Awesome. And then put the foot on the floor. And then these are pretty safe and therapeutic for most bodies. And again, most of these poses are in that book that I'm going to send you a copy of if you want. So these are some little pelvic tilts that are going to be a little rounding your low back to the floor and arching your low back away from the floor. Feet or hips width and straight, arms in low V. So you get to decide how big they are. Ideally, we inhale as we arch with yoga poses. We exhale when we round and contract. So see if you can go slow. Surround it with breath. Again, it shouldn't hurt, but make sure you go as big as you can. And these are doing some really great work for your hips and spine. Also doing some nice therapy for your organs, squeezing your organs, helping digestion. And it's all really powerful energy work. Feel how it's getting your energy moving, helping you free up stuck energy in so many places. Again, that may be stored trauma, other people's energy. And the more we do this every day, the more we're keeping our energy more like clear and taking care of our alignment, which is really going to help everything. Great. So about 10 of these is amazing. And maybe they're about a little bit bigger and smoother. Great. Awesome. And now, another gentle, awesome one is just hug your knees in and rock yourself side to side. And just breathe into your lower back. And again, just practice relaxing, soften your face and jaw. Enjoy how it's all just bringing you really present in the body, in the moment. Maybe some moments of quiet mind are happening, you don't even try them. Still listening to yourself in between the quiet. Great. But this one doing some awesome therapy for the low back and those organs that reside there, kidneys, liver, spleen. Doing a little energy work for those, a little squeezing like a sponge, a little purifying, and getting a chance to breathe into those organs here. And keep practicing relaxing more and more with each exhale. And you're probably noticing it's getting easier to relax, and you're getting more and more relaxed in a sense of relief through the body and in your being and in your energy, right? And that's because we're freeing up stuck energy. We're getting rid of old energy. We're letting go of other people's energy. We're getting our body in structural alignment, which makes a big difference in how we feel. We're also re-engaging some important muscles, which helps us feel better. And we're getting ourselves back into the body, which helps us feel better. So great. One more here on the back. A reclined frog position. Knees drop open, feet together. If it's intense, move the feet away more. And just arms in a low V again. And this one, and again, all of these are things you can do on their own. And this one's kind of a nice one to do in bed for a lot of us. It's going to induce that relaxation response also. So this one's going to calm your nervous system, let it happen. Add your breathing. That's always going to be your next question. How's my breathing? And again, partly because adding the breathing is going to make the pose work so much better. Add so much therapy to it. Do that energy work for you. Keep imagining and seeing and feeling how it's doing that for you. But also, it's reminding you to just breathe more like that. And once we're done with the session, you're just going to be breathing better and differently all day long because you've reconnected with that with your mat practice. So that's what the mat practice is doing so much for us in so many ways, right? Including being a form of meditation and just a time to be with ourselves and notice what's true. Great. So about a minute with that one. Maybe you helped the legs up. Maybe a couple pelvic tilts after that. Maybe one more knees to the chest. One more rocking. Breathe into that. Good. We're just going to do a couple more in the name of poses here. Gently roll yourself to one side. You want to be gentle with your transitions. Push up from the forearms. Bring yourself up. Good. And we're going to do an elevated child's pose next. And if you really love a full-on child's pose, I'm not going to say you can't do it. But for a lot of us, this is a better choice and gives us great therapeutic benefits, including another one that's going to be anti-anxiety, totally relaxing us, helping the nervous system calm down some more. And it's going to be helping doing some work for things like the hips and the spine that are helpful for how we feel. And it's about 1 minute. So hands and knees to start. You want to have hands right under shoulders and knees right under hips. It's important to have that good alignment to start. And ideally, we're going to exhale into it. For an elevated child's pose, we're going to just sit the hips back like a third of the way. Then we're going to put the hands out in like a diamond position and forehead to the floor. So hanging out here for about a minute, breathing into the pose. Feel that hammocking in the back. Practice relaxing everywhere. See how each pose gives you a chance to breathe into some new places. See what places you can breathe into in that elevated child's pose. And remember, this one's straight up relaxing your nervous system. So coming to something like this for a minute is really going to calm you down. Good. Finish up that minute and then come on up. But just wanted to talk to you for a minute while you're finishing up. So 1 minute there a day is going to relax you while you're there and then keep you more relaxed and just keep you out of the anxiety spikes if you're doing more of these poses. So basically, all these poses here are going to help with that. And so come on out of that elevated child's pose. Just notice how you feel. Great. And now we're going to get ready to come up to standing for just one more pose. I want to come check the time with you. See how we're doing. Oh, good. Yeah. And then after this, we're going to sit and do some gentle, awesome breath exercises. So get yourself, what you're going to want for this one is your chair again. Or you could use a table or counter for this one. I'm going to use my chair. I'm going to use the back of my chair. This one is a standing pose. It's a 1 minute standing pose. It's very safe and gentle. And I'm giving you the gentler version. It's called a modified counter stretch. So I'm going to get my chair to use, and you could use your chair or a counter. We want something that is going to have a height that's about hips width or a little bit higher, ideally not lower. So this is almost a little bit low for me, but it'll work. Okay, so what we're going to go for is a 90-degree angle with this too. You notice we use a lot of those 90-degree angles. We're just going to get there for about a minute. Feet are going to be hips width apart, meaning this 2 little hip bones distance and straight. That's going to be important when you get there, that you have things like feet turned straight and that you're in good alignment. It's really important to make sure these things don't make you hurt and that they really work how we want them to. This is another one's going to stretch, realign, help neck and shoulders. Same for the hips, create some relief and refreshment, and it's also some more energy work. So once we get there, we're going to hold it for about a minute and breathe into the pose and then come on up slowly. So what we're going to do for this one, feet are hip width apart. We're going to step the feet back. I'm going to stack my arms hand over elbow. So that's going to go on the edge of that chair or counter. I'm going to step my feet back so they're right under the hips, 90-degree angle. My forehead's on my arms, and I'm going to let my back kind of hammock down. So you see how I've got a 90-degree angle. My forehead's on my arms, and now I'm going to hold this and breathe into the pose and relax into the pose. And if it's easy for you to be here, you can even firm up your thighs a little bit more. Keep breathing into the pose. Notice where can you breathe into on this pose. Feel that relaxing with each exhale. So about a minute with that one. And then when you're ready, you're going to want to stand yourself up. Maybe adding an inhale as you rise. It's going to help with any lightheadedness. Great. Come on up. So even just that one, doing that one 1 minute a day can really change a lot for you mentally, physically, and even for your spiritual connection. And now that we're up, before we sit back down, let's just shake it out a little bit gently. Remember, it's all energy. So now we've freed up some stuck energy. We've gotten energy moving. I always like to do this at the end of my time with the poses and breathe into this part too. But you can always just do this too to shift and change how you feel. Because it's getting your energy moving. It's getting you in your body. It's getting you in the moment. It's getting you back into your breath, right? So it doesn't have to be complicated. It just has to be something we do. So come on back to sitting for some of these gentle breath exercises I want to share with you. And if you need to get or something to drink or anything you need to do, let's take a minute. Oh, and now I'm going to want my glasses to see you better. All right. So, come on back and, okay. So now we're going to do breath exercises, and it's nice, again, in these breath exercises too, all of them you can just use on their own. So I really love to share things with you like that, so it's not overwhelming too. So it's like, oh, just little 1 to 2 minute ideas. So all of these are going to be 1 to 2 minute breath ideas. Very gentle, but we want to take it gentle because it is powerful. The breath is really powerful work. And there are thousands of breath exercises out there and all sorts of hard, intense ones that would probably be too intense to share with a lot of people. A lot of them I still haven't learned for sure. But these are some awesome ones that are really effective, really can shift how we feel mentally, physically, emotionally, and absolutely energetically. So you could hopefully even more now get into how the breath is amazing energy work we're doing with ourselves. And now more than ever, I think more of us are like honoring and accepting and realizing that we're energy, we're made of energy. More of us are going to other people for energy work, right? So the idea here is you're doing your own energy work on yourself. So wanting to teach and share with you some of the simple ones that I love. And even some of these I have used and even learned when I started to work more with kids. So they're things that even kids can do that can help shift us, lift us in 1 to 2 minutes. Absolutely amazing. So whenever you do breath work, you want to be sitting, or if you're standing, that's okay. Or some of these you could even do laying down, but you want to be in an aligned position with your spine so that the energy flows as smoothly as possible. So see what you can do to get in that position for yourself. So for me, I'm sitting on a couple pillows, so it's really easy for me to sit up aligned and relaxed. And then the bonus is after we do the poses, ideally that's the bonus. And one of the reasons even to do the poses, even traditionally, is so that we're more comfortable to sit in alignment, but we want to sit relaxed. It's never about sitting stiff and forced and uncomfortable. That's going to cancel out the benefits of the practices as far as I'm concerned. So get yourself comfortable and aligned and then relaxed for the breath work. And some of these are going to use our hands. Some of them aren't. So if you want ideas for what to do with your hands when you're doing things like sitting, there's different thoughts. And I think maybe it might be next week we're doing mudras and mantras, which are the hand poses. So we'll be talking more about that. But you could, sure, if you want to do something like this with your hands, palms up or palms down, or just lay your hands flat on your lap or palms up. Some would say palms down goes more with like a grounding intention, and palms up maybe goes more with like in a receptive mode. You decide. So if you want to do something like that with your hands, one of those, you choose. And yeah, get yourself relaxed and aligned. And here we go. So there's just 4 of them that I'm going to bring in. And all of them we're going to want to be using that belly breathing. And all of them we're going to want to stay relaxed. Again, because it's very powerful work. We don't want to push or force with the breath. We want to take it slow because we could even do too much and even strain the lungs in a sense. So we want to be gentle and careful. And it's just another place and way for us to practice being that way with ourselves, right? Which is pretty different than the way a lot of us are with ourselves. Me too. So we're aligned, we're relaxed, we're ready. And then of course, all these are forms of meditation because they're going to involve our focus and our attention, and they're going to help quiet our minds, and as well as change us physiologically, right? Super cool. So this first one, and this one's gotten kind of like really popular. I love that I see like a lot of my life coach friends recommending it. I've always called it 4-4 breathing, but I think some people now call it like box breathing. So whichever you like, but I think the box analogy is that we're going to be breathing in a way that goes 4, 4, 4, 4. So if you wanted to picture you like drawing a box with your breath, if that helps you, you could do that. So what we're going to be doing as we're ready, nice and relaxed and easy, is just counting to ourselves in our heads right? And trying out a breath, an inhale into your belly, ideally that lasts for 4 counts. Gently holding the inhale for 4 counts. Breath retention has been a classic form of energy work of the yogis for years. And then 4 seconds, 4 counts for your exhale. And then holding at the end of your exhale for 4 counts. Some more breath retention, but at the end of the exhale, which is actually a very relaxing space, you'll notice. So just try that with yourself over the next minute. Slow, gentle, easy, ideally into your belly. 4 count inhale, 4 count holding, 4 count exhale, and then 4 counts at the end. Great. So you're noticing how, again, it just takes some focus and attention. So that's making it a form of meditation and helps quiet the mind, get us into the moment, gets us into the body. It's also a mindfulness practice, right? And then balancing out the breath like that is said to really help balance out the nervous system. So another one of these, it's all about helping us calm down. So, and what's great with all of these tools today is you can use them in the moment when you're feeling stressed, when you're feeling anxious, when you're feeling even depressed, even though it can be harder sometimes to think or to remember or to give ourselves that when we're in those moments. But more and more as we get in the habit of remembering we have these tools. So now we have them there as a responsive tool. So even like this breath, and maybe just do one more round if you're still doing the counting. But we can also, the more that we use them preventatively and just start to build them into our lives, we're having less of the extremes, I really see, mentally, physically, emotionally, energetically, right? So, but we get to use them both ways, when we need them or before we need them, right? Okay, so that's the 4-4 breath, or the box breath, which is awesome, right? And now just let yourself breathe naturally. Again, stretch and move any ways that you need to as a way of honoring your body. Very yoga thing to do. And now we're going to do a few more. This one is a classic tool from yoga, and there's various versions. I'm going to offer you the simplest California style version because this one does involve a mudra, but we're going to simplify that even and make it more like the old school, like hang loose mudra. So make that position with your right hand for this one, sitting aligned and relaxed. And this is an alternate nostril breath. So this one is said to awesomely reconnect the left and right hemispheres of the brain, really build our focus and clear the mind, quiet the mind. Does some awesome things physiologically for us. So, but we want to take it gentle and careful. We're just going to do it for 1 minute, but you could do this one for several minutes if you want. And classically, you start and end on the left nostril. So what we're going to do is block the right nostril with the thumb and take a slow, long breath into your belly in that left nostril. And now block the left nostril with your pinky and exhale right side, slow and long. Stay relaxed about it. Inhale right side. Block the right, exhale left. Keep reminding yourself to stay relaxed or re-relax. Let's do one more round. Inhale left side. Into that belly. Block the left, exhale right. And you could do these things with your eyes opened or closed, your choice. Inhale right side. Block the right, exhale left. And then drop the hand. Take a slow, long breath through both nostrils. Exhale out of the nose or mouth, slow and long. And now just take some normal breaths to integrate that. And again, it's nice to let the effects settle in, honoring that it's powerful work you just did, noticing what you feel, what's shifting, what's getting better. Great. So that's the alternate nostril breath, also in my book that you'll get a copy of, especially if you reach out, if I don't already know, to send it to you. And next one, this one is awesome for releasing anger, frustration, sadness, hard feelings. And it also opens up our like throat chakra and expression. So it involves making a funny face. And this one, it was always fun to do with the kids. They always get into it, but I always thought it's because they know we adults need it because we could always use that like clearing that this one brings up. So we're going to do just a few of these. This one's called the lion breath. And so what we'll be doing and even envisioning is that we're taking in that breath, bringing up some of that stuff that we're ready to release as we inhale. And then as we exhale, we're going to be releasing that with exhale and a sound and a face. So the face is going to be extending the tongue out. And this is where we're like imagining we're like a lion roaring almost. And we're going to give it a bah with the tongue trying to touch the chin. And then even with the eyes, aiming to look up towards the third eye. So you're looking up towards your third eye. You're sticking your tongue out to your chin. And you can do it making sound or being quiet. So we'll do a few and do a little bit of each. So again, this is powerful energy work with your breath, even a little bit of sound, and the face doesn't hurt. So do it with me, or you'll just be watching and laughing at me. So that's fine too. So aligned and relaxed. Let's take a deep breath in for the first one, and just with a normal volume, give it a bah when we exhale, and just as long as you can let that exhale last as you release that stuff, right? So breathe in, bring that stuff up. And now let's do another one with just equal amount of sound. Breathe it up and in. Great. Now do a whispering one and extend it as long as you can. Great. And how about one more on your own, sound or silent, you decide. Stick out that tongue, eyes to the third eye, exhale. Good. And then just take slow long breath in, exhale as you integrate that one. That's a funny one to do on Zoom. Okay. And on YouTube. So next up, just one more breath exercise, which is really exciting. This is an energizing one. So I'll often use this one, like if I'm getting ready for something and I might even feel a little bit sleepy or sluggish or fatigued, which doesn't happen to me very often, but if I am, or it also just builds our focus, we can do this one in 1 minute and really energize ourselves. It also is said to be cleansing for the systems. And it also has a relaxing effect. So it's not like it over energizes us, but it just like stimulates us and calms us and has that cleansing effect. So this one's called the bunny breathing. So what you're going to be doing is doing some short sniffs in through your nose like this, like 4 of them. And then as you exhale, you'll make a sound of ah, right? So let's do like 4 to 6 of those bunny breathing breaths, sitting aligned and relaxed. So four or so short sniffs in. One more. Good. And then integrate it with a slow, long breath and a long exhale. Awesome. And just notice how you feel. Great. And yeah, really just take a moment now to check out what's different and better compared to when we started. How's it going in the body? What's true now? And you're probably noticing you are just more relaxed, you're more connected to your breath, more connected to your body. And now even just aware, like, how are you doing in the mind? Maybe you've even had some awarenesses, some realizations in this time during your practices, and that's how it's supposed to work. And then even maybe more able to quiet your mind, relax it for some seconds. And let's even let ourselves do that now. How it could be just like another muscle that we're softening for a few seconds. Or even bringing to mind, imagining, thinking about a clear, smooth surface of a lake. Maybe a clear blue sky, filling up your mind with that image. And just 2 to 5 seconds, like medicine, clearing your mind, quieting your mind, and refreshing your creativity even. And even playing with the windshield wipe idea, like we talked about last week too, where you could just imagine you could windshield wipe your mind to clear it, quiet it for 2 to 5 seconds. And keep breathing, keep relaxing. And then really cultivating that listening mode. And if you have that spiritual life and connection you like to get into, letting that be what you're getting into right now, listening more toward that part of you, that part of life, however you conceive of your sense of spirit, spirituality, just getting into that now, feeling into that, listening into that. Whether it's like you're listening more to your heart, your soul, feeling into that, or tuning into your connection with whatever you call it, the universe, the moment, God, Jesus, Buddha, life, source, whatever you call it, right? I'm feeling how, yeah, that might involve a more heartful awareness, maybe even bringing our attention more to that heart-like space, maybe putting a hand on the heart helps root us there more. It's remembering, reminding ourselves to be in that awareness more. Breathe into that, relax into that. And just notice how you've changed your state of being with these very simple things we've done today, right? But hopefully you now understand more why they work so well, so quickly, and on so many levels, right? And how all of these practices here we did are forms of meditation, forms of yoga, but really all about just helping us reconnect mentally, physically, emotionally, and manage that energy that we are, right? And just now in that awareness, as we move into our days, that, oh yeah, I have this body. I'm going to keep being aware of how it's doing, how it's feeling. Keep remembering it's all energy. Keep remembering it's about knowing when to move that energy, when to use things like stillness. Keep using that breath as the power tool that it is, right? Hopefully now reconnected with the power of just conscious breathing that we can bring into anytime, anywhere, and especially our moments of practice. And just really in that tuned in awareness with ourselves more, that listening mode with ourselves, that loving mode with ourselves, right? And that's part of what we can carry on into the day too. Just continuing to be more in a listening mode with ourselves and even more in a listening mode with the moment, right? And just ready to enjoy the moment and in our sensations and in the sounds and in the sights and ready to be present here and now, not yesterday or tomorrow. Me too. And yeah, see how adding a smile, like I just find myself doing, talking to you, is actually some medicine as well. That sends that serotonin to your brain when you smile and is like a natural antidepressant. And just breathing into that, relaxing into that. And just noticing how you're doing at this point. What's different? What's better from the work you've done with yourself, right? I couldn't do it for you. That's the thing. We have to do it for ourselves. Me too. But notice how you feel. And I'm hoping, I'm figuring at least a little bit different and better, more tuned in and tuned up in the various realms. And just more aware again, remembering you're made of energy. It's all energy. It's about you managing that energy, probably more with more things like this. And even just maybe committing to yourself that you're going to start managing your energy more by what you're doing for your body, what you're doing for your mind, and what you're doing for your spiritual connection, right? And that more like every day, more like preventatively is really awesome. But also knowing it's there for you as needed when you're feeling out of sorts, when you're feeling stressed, depressed, anxious, not well, to let that be a reminder to come back to some of these gentle things, right? But then knowing that the more that we do these gentle things each day, the better we're going to keep feeling. So, but thank yourself for being here today, taking this time with me this hour. It's amazing. So thankful that you're open to this, letting me share with you more about how you can tune you. And again, reach out so I can send you a copy of that book. And if you do know you want more poses and more specifics, reach out as well, because that's part of what I do also, is create those personalized practices for when you're ready for a specific 15 to 20 minutes for you. But now you know, remember some of these amazing poses we did, some of the use of breath, and some of the awareness through it all, right? The use of our attention, our focus, and our intention, right? So I'm so thankful to be here with you. Let's close it up now. And I appreciate your being with me. I'll be back next week for a different focus with the practices, but just here to fill you up for your home self-care, your spirituality, especially as we get ready for 2021. So I love you guys so much. Thank you for being here. Let's close with the mudra, that prayer mudra, which is so centering, which you can also bring that one home. You'll notice pretty amazing to just add this in your moments with yourself. Breathe into that. Relax one more time. And let's just breathe into the whole body and the whole being. If there's anything else you're ready to let go of right now, just breathe in and exhale more of that out one more time. Good. And feel yourself relaxed, refreshed, ready to go into the rest of your day, wherever you're at, whenever you catch this. And just knowing everyone you meet, talk to, touch in various ways is going to feel a difference. So thank yourself for being here and knowing that as you tune you, that's one of your best ways to help your world for sure. So I love you so much. Thanks for being here. Namaste.